Okay, the next thing we have on the agenda is recruiting membership to revitalize the neighborhood association. Did any of you get a chance to look at those two videos that I sent out with the email earlier today? Today, yes. Earlier today.
I haven't been to my desk yet.
Well, when you get a chance, I was over at School 19, and it's a somewhat somber thing there. They're losing.
It's teaching jobs.
They're saving.
They might not lose 12. Now they might lose 4. I mean, sorry, like 8.
8.
Which is still
Okay.
big.
How much is the state coming up with?
They did not announce that, but there's some emergency fund. It still doesn't resolve the budget issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, long term, but at least for the end of the school year, it's going to reduce the teacher cuts by
Good.
50 teachers less.
Oh, good.
So 50 less teachers.
Yes.
And with the state aid, does the state expect us to pay that back?
No, it's a grant. A grant.
Okay.
Could you say the amount again? I'm sorry.
The teacher cuts will go from 159 to 109,
Okay.
which would still mean School 19 would probably lose 8. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Well, it's that's the second of the two videos that I sent out. That the thing that we ended up doing towards the end of that meeting was talk about what could the teachers do, because they were looking at who else can we get into the classrooms so that you've got other adults there to work with the kids, and it may not be as teacher intensive as it was when you had actual teachers there, but they might be able to help kids work on their reading or something of that type. And I suggested that we should probably look at the neighborhood associations in the area and see if they can help recruit volunteers for the school and work, get involved with the school and see how they might be helpful. And we need to do that whether we lose 50 or 100 or 200 teachers, because as it stood before this emergency, we didn't have enough staff and enough funding to really do all the things that the state was asking the district to do in terms of improving programs. At 19, for instance, they were put into receivership, which means that they have so much time to try to improve certain measures that the state has determined were not good enough in terms of reading scores or math or science. And and of course they're dealing with a lot of kids that have gone through a lot of trauma in their lives. They come into the school, you're never quite sure, they may have had a raid on the house next door the night before and they didn't get much sleep. There was all sorts of things that they have to have a lot of support staff to work with the psychological aspect of dealing with the needs of the children. And anyways, they were all, they were already less flush with money to do everything that's needed, and now we had this. Yes.
But there are some benefits going into receivership. It does give the school access to significantly more money. It brings in a community person whose job is to connect the school with neighborhood associations and businesses to help build support.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is
them
that
being
going to continue, or is that one of the
Yes.
positions? So that's not one of the positions that would
No.
be cut?
No.
Nice.
And the school district actually just formally hired their community schools person in the last 60 days or so.
They just what?
Hired someone at the district level that will lead the community schools work for all schools that are in a receivership that are becoming community schools.
Yeah, because I know the only of the 4 schools that I've been sitting on their CET teams, only School 10 had gotten a community school coordinator.
Well, now that there's someone at the district level that's overseeing that, I think you'll see that start to change.
Yeah, that's what, Kelly Briggs, is it?
Yep, I just met with her before I came here.
Yeah, she was at the last meeting we had at 10. So, that's good because 19 did, last time we talked, which was Monday, they didn't have a coordinator yet. In fact, they were facing, we were trying to decide how many students are going to, how many teachers are going to be leaving.
Them going into receivership does give them access to more money that will help support their transition to a community schools model.
Yeah, I hope that, one of the things that they had signed up for at 19 was extended learning time, ELT program, and they've decided to get out of that because they only got 2 of the 4 people they needed to provide that service so that they could have a longer time with the kids.
I mean, I think things are going to get worse before they get better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the school district is still using too many buildings. They hired significant amount of teachers over the last 5 years, although the student population significantly continues to go down. So there'll be more pain until things get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing that we ended up doing at that meeting was trying to see what we could do in getting connections between the school and the neighborhoods. And it occurred to me that, right now, the Southwest Common Council, needs to do what it can to strengthen the neighborhoods throughout the Southwest so that we have vibrant neighborhoods and Neighborhoods United. I mean, Bill was here and he's Neighborhoods United pretty much. Have they recruited more people over there, John, that you know of? Yeah. We and he's been with us since I got on here 10 years ago, and he's been a great resource to know what's going on there. But that neighborhood association and all of them could stand having more members across the whole area, and getting people involved with the schools is an opportunity to go door to door and talk to neighbors and say, I'm part of Neighborhood Association A or B or C, whichever it is, and we're trying to make sure we have a good membership and everybody in the neighborhood has an opportunity to participate in things that would be beneficial to the neighborhood. One thing we're looking for today is, anybody who might be interested in seeing if they could get involved with one of the local schools. And it depends on which school you're talking to. I threw that out at one meeting and at one school, and trying to figure out how to use the volunteer seemed to not be something they were keen on entertaining. Over at 19, they were thrilled at the thought of getting volunteers in.
Yeah, I would say we're fortunate in this neighborhood. Both School 10 and School 19 receive a significant amount of funding through the Greater Rochester Health Foundation. I don't know how much you know about that work, but I'm a part of that work. I could send you an email and help connect some dots.
That would be great.
So School 10, which is in the 19th ward, as well as school number 19 is on the edge of it, but still. So there's some opportunities there where those schools are always, and they're both in receivership, so they're both the community school models are looking for neighborhoods to be involved.
And we've kicked around at times. Is there any way of getting teachers to live in the neighborhoods? And I don't know if there's anything that you know of.
That's at the district level. I know in Syracuse the mayor just made a law that for the first 5 years that police officers have to live in Syracuse. So I personally would like to see a model similar to that in Rochester for both teachers and police. That's about my pay grade.
Yeah.
That's just wishful thinking.
Well, it's something that I think could be helpful. And I mean, the teachers, all the ones that I've run across, they love their kids and they want to see them succeed, but sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect depending on what their background is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you ever have any meetings with Simeon Bannister, but if you could ever get him to come to Southwest Common Council, Simeon Bannister really talks about the economic impact of 90% of the teachers living outside the city of Rochester, and really money that's designated for Rochester, really building up the suburban districts. And he does a great presentation. He's vice president of the Community Foundation,
yeah.
But he tells that story better than anyone else, and he presents the economic impact of teachers not living in the city of Rochester all over Rochester. So it would be well worth your time, to reach out and ask him to share that.
Simeon Bannister?
Yeah, he breaks down the money and just talks about the importance of teachers living within the city of Rochester.
That would be
he's fantastic. He's fantastic.
Okay, have you been in touch with the Rochester Coalition for Public Education?
Is that the Facebook group?
They may have something on Facebook, but they...
Dan Dermesich.
And Dan Dermesich.
No, the name is really...
Let me, I'll send you, in fact, in the link in the email I sent out today, there's a link to a video of one of their forums that they had, and also the document that they've put out of things they'd like to see change in the city school district.
Yeah.
Because we'd like to incorporate. And the thing that group, like so many of the groups that I've been involved with, we need more minorities sitting around the table. When you've got 10 nice old white guys who are trying to say this is what the community needs, it's hard to have credibility, even if you're asking for the right things.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you're saying. And in regards to teachers living in the city of Rochester, it might be wise of the Southwest Common Council, the education group, to also think about trying to meet with Superintendent Dane, because they're negotiating the new RTA contract now.
Mm-hmm.
So now's the time that you have that conversation. Once that's ratified in 8 months to a year, and that's a 5 or 8 year contract,
mm-hmm.
Then you can't even touch that for that amount of time. But now's the time that you have that conversation. So it might be wise to reach out to Superintendent as well.
That
it'd be interesting to have a joint meeting with Simeon Bannister and Terry Dane.
Yeah.
Which I like Terry Dane a lot.
He
like came into a tough situation. This wasn't what he expected to have to deal with.
That poor guy. I would have turned around and left.
Yeah,
he's fixing it. He's fixing it. It's very, very painful, but he's fixing it.
Okay,
Committee reports?
the committee reports. Do we have anything?
Nobody here from Economic Development.
Yeah, the only report I've gotten from John is what I typed in here,
That is?
for, the Reach Advocacy did get their 501c3 status. He didn't have anything new for the tiny homes. The 720 West Main Street Rectory is operating at full capacity for the homeless, and he wasn't going to be able to make it here. Public safety, Dennis.
I just want to
What?
say, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think I'm economic development. Okay.
Yes, but I want to say something about the tiny homes, because they had a meeting today, and they'd like, they're looking at property on Henyon Street that would be the same size, but looking at doing the tiny homes here versus across town. And that might be something. The location that they're talking about is near an urgent care center, near the homeless shelter, near the soup kitchen. That it might be, it's a good for a bus line, so that, and it would have a lot of support from the Southwest. So I'm going to pursue that with Dana. And I've already checked in with John Lightfoot, who would approve it. I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
And just to add to that, a number of us have been involved with the Bullshead development, and tiny homes are proposed as part of that. A larger brownfield opportunity area that goes from Ames to Jefferson, out to the railroad tracks. So there are opportunities in there to do tiny homes, but nothing specific at this point.
Right. So we need, who would I contact for that information?
I'm not sure. I mean, that's all happening in Dana's
All right,
organization.
then I'll meet with Dana. That's cool. Or have the group meet with Dana.
Yeah, I wanted to take just a minute and handed out a booklet. Chris McDonald and I are street managers, street liaisons for our commercial corridors, and one of the persons who helps us immensely is in the mayor's office, Liliana Ruiz, and she comes to most of our business meetings, and she wanted to do something that would showcase our neighborhood, particularly from an economic development standpoint, but it would serve as not just a showcase, but a resource guide.
Wow.
And I remember the 25-year crowd here, Swan used to do a great community resource guide with all the referrals in it. This one, isn't quite as deep, but it makes an effort to showcase our legacy businesses, our major hiring, the organizations in our neighborhood that do provide jobs. St. Mary's Hospital, 900 jobs last time in 24/7. Our legacy businesses, we have, Stat ranked them just for fun. Morris Lumber, something like 1857, something like that. I mean, they're the oldest business in our community, followed shortly by St. Mary's. And then there's a trail, Nip Tahoe is over 100 years. So we tried to feature some of the legacy businesses, and we got their photos in there. Crawley Plumbing, Jefferson Avenue, for John's sake, our health, Dr. Bayer, and our pharmacy, Howard Chipper's Pharmacy, and so on. So some of our tenured businesses are in here, and then in the back is a number of, there's one page devoted to new businesses. And we featured, Be Healthy, Korean on Charlie Avenue, Jamaican Food, Rocky's Pizza on Genesee Street. And there's a young lady who does great jewelry and art on Jefferson Avenue, 654 Jefferson Avenue. So we listed some of the new businesses on one page. And then there's a resource guide, all the food pantries, all the homeless shelters, libraries, firehouses, rec centers and so on are all listed. And then all of our neighborhood associations, and the contact person and their number and their email, all of our business associations, our youth agencies, our schools, healthcare, and so on. And then the community meetings, page 18. Somebody commented, wow, people downtown are doing this in the communications department. I said, you guys got a lot of community meetings. I said, yes, we do. So there's one page of all of the recurring, first Monday, first Wednesday, this one's the third Thursday, I think. So all those are listed, and then some general good information in the back. So we're kind of glad the mayor's office reached out to our street liaisons to we were able to provide most of the content in here.
Awesome.
So
This is really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All professional meeting goals.
So in that office, I have a handful, and I'm handing them out to particular businesses that are featured in there. John McMahon at the Net Office, Neighborhood Service Center, has Boku. So I don't think there's any grand distribution plan, but I would say they belong in every neighborhood meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I did
Yes,
my part.
yes.
Thank you for it. So
Is there a link to this online, or?
we're going to ask for that. We did ask for that.
Yeah, that would be good.
It'd be so easy to put the content online.
Oh, yeah. And then
Unfortunately, I have to leave. Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
I'm going to be presenting next month, correct?
yeah.
Yes.
The other thing, some of the community engagement teams, it would be great if you can join us for some of those.
Yes. Yep.
Because
What camera?
it's remarkable how hard it is to get the everybody talking together.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Christmas.
Yep.
Thank you very much. So nice to have you stop by.
Yeah.
Public safety?
You.
Ah!
My chair is out of, is he still out of the country,
Till
Mother?
the 31st.
Yeah. My chair is out of the country right now. He's working on the police accountability board. That's it.
Okay.
There'll be more further after the holidays, after I get my shopping done. Right, John?
Shopping?
Yes, I have a lot to do yet.
Haven't even started thinking about it yet. Okay, what do we have next here?
Arts and culture, Pizza
Arts and
Brooks?
Culture.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet?
Too early.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, I've seen some stuff come around for the group that's from the city that's doing the art for that area.
Right.
Have you gotten anything on it? You've gotten something on it.
Yeah, I did get something on it. John and Staybridge got something.
I'll look for it and send it your way, Mary.
I thought you.
You mean from Rick Rinsky?
I don't know if that, but what's the guy's name? I mean,
Where
like,
the Christmas tree is right now, that area.
Right.
Oh, I hope they don't bring a big
No, they won't.
Christmas
No, we
tree.
talked about it a long time ago, like everything else.
yeah, were you in on some of those meetings about a year or two ago there? And it's,
Because I think next year he'll make it 4 feet higher.
yeah. Okay, well, I'll forward you what I've gotten, because I've been kind of maxed out for the last couple of weeks here.
Education.
Education, I think we've
I think you
covered that enough for today. One thing on the communication, please find some way of getting that fan up there on a switch.
I put it in my CIP.
Because if you listen to the last video that we put out for the Education Committee, for the first 10 minutes or so, the air was on over at the Arnett Library, and boy, you can barely hear what people are saying, and they were sitting closer than we are here. Then they came in and showed us where the switch is, flick it off, and suddenly, oh my God, it was peace, and you could hear a pin drop. We need to fix this here, you know.
Okay. So Donna, did you have anything that you want to say about 19th Ward at all?
Oh, yes, 19th Ward Association, we have a new Jackie. Her name is Ruth. She's very nice, and she's working every day, like 9 to 2:30. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Jackie's been coming in to help her figure things out and like that, and she's really nice, and I think she's going to be really good. She's kind of low key, and she knows a lot of stuff. I like her, so that's good.
Great. That's really good news. Okay, Youth Build, it's been refunded for 3 years. Yay! We're working with the Tiny Homes Committee to see how the students can be part of building the homes, and maybe even building them at the location where they get their classroom instruction. Rotary Southwest, we changed meetings so that they're not 2 8 in the morning meetings. There's one the first Thursday of every month, not in January. The first Thursday of every month, it will be at Carlson Commons. National Night Out, we're planning a meeting for the towards the end of January. Taste of the Islands is going to happen. That's all the Caribbean restaurants that will come. The event is Thursday, February 22nd, 6 p.m. at Brew Coffee.
27th.
27. What did I say?
27th.
Yeah, 27th. February. It's a Thursday, February 27th, 6 p.m. at Brew Coffee. And then the last thing that we talked about today was a skating party at Genesee Valley Park Ice Rink. We're going to be helping with that February 1st. So be there or be square. And Southwest Libraries, you have no report? Okay. Thank you for hosting us.
And it's a wrap. Thank you very much. Though I'm sure those are going to be very popular over at School 29 for the butterfly garden we've got there. That was really great. Where did you get these made?
Actually had them made right at my shop.
Ah.
Automotive. Had a couple other friends come in and help me do the pinstriping and the detailing on it.
Oh,
And this is
fantastic.
my donation to your butterfly project.
That's wonderful. Marion's going to really be thrilled when she sees this.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for the
What
support you guys gave
beautiful
me, and I'm
work.
giving support back.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'll get the principal at 29 to take a look at it. I'm sure he'll be thrilled too. Thank you, Andy.
Anytime.